morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Colorado and Company. All right, well, it's pretty important to me when it comes to nutrition and to girls. I do my best, right, when they're at home, but when they go to school, well, it's kind of hard to know what they're being fed every day and how good is it for them. Well, the Chef Ann Foundation helps kiddos across the country eat healthier food at school. And joining us today is Mara Fleischman from the foundation. Mara, how are you?
Oh, great. It's great to be here.
This is so interesting because it's something as parents that we talk about, think about every single day, especially as the kiddos go back to school. Tell me about the foundation.
Well, the Chef Ann Foundation has been around over a decade, and it was started by Chef Ann Cooper, who was the food services director for Boulder Valley School District. She just retired in January of 2021.
Okay.
But she got nicknamed in the media Renegade Lunch Lady because she wanted to serve fresh, scratch-cooked meals in schools.
Oh, wonderful.
And so that is her term, and we help districts move from processed heat and serve to cook from scratch.
That is so good. Now, why is it so tough to cook in schools? Now, there are some challenges there. Why do you think?
Well, there's a number of challenges, but the biggest one is that the reimbursable rate for a school lunch is about $3.75.
Okay.
So cut that in half, and that's what you've got for food costs and for labor, and so it's challenging. However, it is doable, and so while it might be easier to pull a processed chicken nugget out of the freezer, put it in the heater, and put it on the line, you can take that reimbursable rate, and you can buy fresh ingredients, and you can train your teams to cook, and you can train on procurement and get the right equipment into your district to actually cook from scratch. And when you do that, you are able to do a lot of things to increase the health of the meal, to ensure that the ingredients are higher quality and better for the environment. And you can buy local.
Of course, it would be so good if that could be implemented in schools everywhere. Now, you've launched some new programming. This is exciting. Tell me about that.
Yes, we have a number of new programs, but one of the coolest things that has just launched is called Scale. It's the Scratch Cooking Learning and Evaluation Assessment. And it's basically around for districts to be able to put in all of their information about their school food program, and then it spits out a curated report for them, letting them know where they are in the scratch cooking scale and how they can make improvements to take steps to scratch cook more food.
That is wonderful. Okay, so if a district wants to participate or jump on board with this, can they do so, and how?
Yes, it is free to all districts in the country, and that was a big thing for Chef Ann. She wanted to make all of our resources and tools very accessible. So you can go to chefannfoundation.org and you can click on the scale assessment and start taking it at any time.
That would be so neat to see where we are, especially like the school your kiddos are going to, right?
Yes.
See where they stand. Okay, why is this job so important to you, Mara?
Well, I think this job, like you, you have two girls. I have three kids, 2 girls, 1 boy. Okay. When I first moved to Colorado 16 years ago, and I went to school lunch with my oldest, they were serving processed French toast sticks with a packet of syrup that actually had no maple syrup in it, was all sugar, and a side of pears in a sugary sauce. And I started to look around. My oldest, Lucy, was in kindergarten, and I thought, once they ingest this, there is so much sugar in this meal, they are going to completely crash right after lunch. And this is the year that you're learning to read. How is a teacher going to then teach? There was 30 kids in her kindergarten class. How is she going to do that? And so there's equity issues, there's nutrition issues, and nearly $14 billion is spent on school lunch in our country every year. And we are buying some of the lowest grade food for schools. So that's not only bad for the kids, but it's bad for the environment, you know, and you either pay now or you pay later. So, you know, we can make that choice. But One of the greatest things about Colorado is that Colorado is very progressive, and we actually have on the ballot coming up here in November free school meals for all. And that is really great because the last 2 years during the pandemic, the federal government waived all prices for kids, so all lunches were free. And during that time, we saw in Colorado almost a 30% increase in participation in school lunch programs because we are missing a big portion of families that need assistance with school lunch right now that are getting missed on the free and reduced lunch program. So getting this bill passed will ensure all kids have access to food.
And that right there is wonderful. Well, you made me think a lot this morning. Thank you so much for being with us. Great insight. And of course, if you want to learn more about the Chef Ann Foundation, you can do so. They are changing the way we feed our kiddos. To donate, head online to chefannfoundation.org to help kids across the country eat healthier food at school.